Hi, everybody.
It's sunny.
Indeed. Welcome to another episode of SlamTube here on Pez the Mind. For this SlamTube, as you can see by the title up there, we are here to discuss the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony of 2016. Of course, the induction ceremony itself took place the night before WrestleMania on April the 2nd, Saturday, April the 2nd. And a good Hall of Fame class this year. We're just going to go through each induction and give our opinions on the speeches and whatnot. This shouldn't be too long because obviously no matches, so we'll go through this. Joining me, as you can see over there, are my usual compatriots, Chriz the Mole.
Hello.
And Marcus Shadow.
Night before WrestleMania.
You know, Marcus, you should really go shopping. You're wearing that same shirt for like 3 weeks.
It's the only WrestleMania shirt I have.
Or is it just the only shirt you have?
No, I've worn my Batman shirt before. I've worn my Thundercat shirt.
So he has 3 shirts. We've established that now.
Yep, he has 3 shirts.
3 branded shirts, yeah. And actually, I have 2 WWE shirts. I have my Up, Down, Down shirt, too.
That's questionable.
Yeah. Anywho. So we're going to go ahead and go through this. By the way, if you haven't seen the induction ceremony and you'd like to watch it, it is available on the WWE Network for just $9.99. Full warning, it's about 3.5 hours, plus an hour for the red carpet, so watch yourself some time if you're going to watch it, but I do encourage you to watch it because some good stuff. Just to start off, did anybody watch the red carpet? Did we want to say anything about that?
Yes, I watched the red carpet.
All right, Mo, we did not, so if you want to comment on the red carpet, go ahead.
New edition. Kathy Kelly from the afternoon show, or after show, whatever it's called. She did the Raw after show, but now she's once, and now she's going to be doing. She's taken over with that because they got an extra spot on the Hall of Fame thing.
Nice.
And I'm like, she did a really good job with it, and she was giving it like little, you know what I mean? She was bringing like the daytime or afternoon talk show style approach to it, which wasn't there.
Right.
We had the woman from last year there who mentioned the fact that it was just last year she gave Dusty Rhodes her impression of him when he was stood right there, which was kind of touching.
Maria Menounos.
Yes, we also had Randy Orton there.
Okay.
Ooh.
So glad I did not watch this before WrestleMania. Because he flat out states during the pre-show that he's there and expect someone to maybe get RKO'd soon.
Or not.
That to me means, oh, he's going to interfere at WrestleMania. This is going to be awesome. No, Orton. And of course, he was there with his wife.
Of course.
Miz was there with his wife, and yeah, I like the red carpet. I like the red carpet stuff because it just makes the event feel more like the Oscars and stuff. Like, oh, this is what they come like. This is what they're dressed like, and you see the wrestlers joke, and you see their families, and you see, oh, it's real people. It helps sell the whole event. I like the red carpet.
It does, and watching this whole red carpet for this and all this stuff, it makes you realize how, what a great spectacle this is, and how cheap the Slammies are.
Yep. The Slammies should be back to being like similar to this, where they have people in one arena, but they don't do anymore.
Nope.
Yeah.
And available on WWE Network for a undisclosed sum. They do say that basically you can go on Slammies and you can visit the past ones. You can actually see it when it was done that way, when it's done like an award show, and it felt so much better.
No, I'll have to go back and watch those. That sounds cool.
I mean, you can watch the really weird one from when I was growing up as well, when it was like, Todd Pettingale backstage, when he's like, and he's talking and doing all the stuff, and he's just like handing them out backstage. Like, we're going to open up this envelope. Yeah, this is the winner. Okay, back to Raw. It's like, oh, thanks. You got the whole budget to get Todd Pettingale in one room with an envelope. Bravo!
Nicely done.
But goddamn it, I miss Todd Pettingale. I loved that era of wrestling. That was awesome.
Indeed. So with the red card out of the way, we'll move on to the show proper. Of course, as has been tradition for the last 5 or 6 years, our host for the evening is Jerry the King Lawler, who does a really good job with this. I always like seeing Jerry do this because it seems like something he's well suited for.
Batman sippy cup.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Batman, Superman, Armored Batman. But yeah.
Oh, that's a Batman on it. Nice.
Jerry Lawler hosted it this year. I believe, like this year, it's also worth noting he filled in parts for what Dusty Rhodes did in the red carpet last year.
Okay. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler's been the host since 2010, I believe, so it's nice to have a consistent host and a consistent format now for this. And Lawler's good because he knows a lot of these guys being inducted, so he can make jokes here and there. He's affable. You know, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, he's an okay host.
Mm.
They should change the host, I feel.
What do you think the host should be?
Woo!
No. If he was the host, we would never get to the first inductee.
You say no to Ric Flair? He's one of the greatest mic men in the business.
When he's not drunk.
He's not been that drunk recently and stuff. That's in the past. You still have to respect him. And
I respect the hell out of him, but I also watched this ceremony, and I'm pretty sure when it got near the end, he forgot that he wasn't the one being inducted, and then remembered, oh shit, by the way, here's Sting.
Yeah, but that was just part of how he was doing. No, that was just how he was with his induction. Imagine him hosting. It's wonderful. Ric Flair is great on the microphone, and he is a great wrestler.
Yeah. I'll be honest, after the promo he cuts, we're going to get there in a minute, but after the promo he cuts, I'd like to see Michael P.S. Hayes hosting.
I like Michael Hayes.
Yeah. But anyway, let's start off with
I've been calling for him to be inducted for years.
Yeah, the Freebirds deserve it. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. First, we're going to open it up with of course, Lawler introducing everybody, and the very first induction of the evening is that of Charles Wright, better known as the Godfather, who was inducted by his very, very good friends JBL and Ron Simmons, the APA.
Yep.
So the APA were funny. They've still got that chemistry after all those years, and that was fun to watch.
Most of the inductors were hilarious.
Mm.
I didn't like one thing with the Godfather.
Okay.
They only really showed Godfather. If that makes sense.
Yeah, there was no Papa Shango or anything.
There's no Papa Shango and it's all of his other characters. Whereas, like, when they've done people in the past who had multiple characters, they at least show them, so you're inducting the person, not the gimmick.
Mm.
Yeah.
This felt more like it was just for inducting the gimmick by doing so. But I still loved his speech, and I loved.
Yeah.
I still loved Bradshaw and Farouk giving their speech. That was cool.
Oh yeah.
Am I the only one who thought that Lawler should have introduced him as Bradshaw and Farouk and not JBL and Ron Simmons?
No, because that's what they're known as now.
Yeah.
Because it just sounded weird. JBL and Ron Simmons, the APA. It's like, And especially when we know the B stands for Bradshaw anyway, so it wouldn't have been a stretch.
Yeah. It worked for what it did. I like how they said the recurring theme of the night of the stories we can't tell.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, Bradshaw and Farouk really set the tone for basically what the rest of the inductors were going to do for the rest of the night, which was beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? You can't tell that story. It's great.
It was. And then the Godfather, I think the Godfather gave a great speech. He acknowledged his family in the audience and everything, and he was short and to the point, and I think that worked as a good, solid opening induction.
He did, and he brought out the hose.
He did bring out the hose. He did.
The modern hose.
He did. He only had 5 of them. Normally his hose train is longer. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, and to be fair, there would be, when you say the modern hose, I would argue they were different hose every week normally.
True.
Yeah.
Like, I believe one of them was Big Show's wife once.
Yeah, usually the hosts were determinant upon wherever Raw happened to be that night.
Yep.
Yeah. Thus, there is no modern host. They're just hoes. They're the same. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, it was kind of like for near the end of it anyway. The Adam Rose's Rosebuds were just whoever they could find in the area at the time.
Yep.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I like the Godfather speech. It was really good.
It was good. It was entertaining.
It was.
So, props to the Godfather. He deserves it. So, moving
I
along.
also found it interesting he came out wearing the pimp hat and he had the cane. That was awesome.
I like he had a purple vest.
To go with the hat, yeah.
Yeah, it's because, like I said, they inducted the Godfather, not the man.
But he did go out of his way to. But the reason I think, because they went out of their way multiple times, both him and the acolytes went out of their way to. Yeah, that's right. I remember them being the acolytes, and then
Well, yeah, everyone does. It's the ministry.
yeah, but excuse me. But everybody went out of their way to say that the thing about the Godfather was that basically just was Charles Wright. There was, so little difference between him and the character aside from being a pimp.
Yes, but I would argue they said the exact same thing about Nash, and yet they still showed his previous gimmicks, even if just for a cutaway joke or a little bit during his induction.
Mm-hmm.
Did they show Oz?
Yeah, because I remember he's joked about Oz before now.
Yeah, Nash actually mentioned it.
Yeah, and Vinny Vegas and stuff.
Yeah. Fair enough. But yeah, they did seem much more the character than the man, which was interesting.
Yep.
Still good.
Yeah. I think it's because Papa Shango was always supposed to be one of those boogeyman Undertaker type characters where, they're bigger. They're not supposed to have a backstory or be a person or anything like that.
But the MMA fighter.
Hmm?
He literally had a gimmick at one point. I forgot his name now for a little bit, but he was like the baddest guy, and he was like a fighter. He was meant to be like an MMA fighter before they did before MMA became huge.
I did not know that. Good to know. They didn't even mention the Good Father.
Yeah.
Right to censor.
Which I was like, oh, come on. Which,
Sorry,
like I said, I was just like, oh, come on. I liked some of his other gimmicks.
Yeah, he had some other good gimmicks.
In fact, I prefer his gimmicks that aren't the Godfather to the Godfather. Like, I even preferred Goodfather to Godfather.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay. So, moving down along, Jerry Lawler introduces the next inductor, in this case, which is, it's time! It's time! It's Vader time! And Vader comes out and gives what was surprisingly for a guy like Vader, who you don't think about, a very emotional speech. I thought he did. It was so great. See the sensitive side of the big man. They get the man out of the mask.
Yeah, Vader's famously one of those guys that doesn't really go, yeah, I just want to be a monster. He normally talks and stuff whenever he takes his mask off.
Okay.
He's a good guy. I like him.
Also, the fact he took his coat off and actually did effectively his entrance, I was like, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's awesome.
It was. And of course, he was giving a speech to induct one of his very, very good friends and mentor, Stan the Lariat Hansen.
Yep. This is probably one of the best, just pure out speeches of the night.
Mm-hmm.
I say pure out speeches because while there is another speech later, which is my favourite, it's more of a spectacle than a speech.
Yeah.
Where he was talking about how you always need an opponent.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say a lot of what he said was good. I just felt this went on a little too long. He rambled a little too long, and I was basically pissed bored by the end of it. And part of it might have been because I didn't know him. I didn't know who he was. He was before my time. But I don't know. It felt, especially compared to all the other speeches, it felt really long.
See, I didn't think he rambled. Like I said, I thought it was the best out and out speech because it's one that raised good points about wrestling, showed that he understood the business but wasn't just going to let it defy him. And at the same time, he wasn't doing all of the same jokes or a load of the other ones were. Like I said, this was probably the best pure speech. And there's a reason why he is probably one. He's going to be in a lot of people's top lists for wrestlers. Like, he just carries himself with what a wrestler should do.
Mm-hmm.
I miss wrestlers that carry themselves that way. Like, credit, Randy Orton now carries himself very well. And when you'll see him and he talks about like how he enjoys the finer things, he talks about his wife and stuff. Very few wrestlers do that nowadays. A lot of them just seem like they're just typical athletes, whereas back in the day, like with him and some of the older people, they weren't just your typical athletes. They were showmen, and they were proud to be these role models and these larger-than-life superheroes, and this guy embodies that.
Fair enough.
He does. It was a really good speech. I agree with Marcus. It seemed like he repeated himself a few times, and it did start to go on a little bit long. But everything he said was very good and very meaningful. How he drove home the importance of the opponent, you know, all the people that he had known over the years. The fact that Rick Martel beat him in 9 seconds.
Yep. Yeah, like I said though, to be fair, name one Hall of Fame speech that didn't repeat itself. They all repeated themselves. The only difference was either A, it's because you don't know this guy, or B, because he had an accent.
No, it just seemed more than others that he was, he repeated himself a little bit.
See, to me, it's not so much that he repeated himself. Yeah, he did there, but as Mole pointed out, everyone does. It just felt it went on too long for me. That was the big thing for me. His accent was fine. He seemed very genuine. A lot of what he said was good stuff and was very potent stuff. And stuff only a man of his age would know. Someone who's been around the business that long and who was so influential in the business, he would know and he would have learned these things. It just felt like it went on too long. Is the only thing for me. I was just like, oh, can you just stop now? You're going on too long.
Yeah, and I think Mo's probably right. The fact of the matter is he's a guy that you and I don't really know, and so as a result, we weren't as captivated as we would be if a speech of the same length was being given by, say, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, because they're both the same. His speech was around the same amount of length as most of them. They have a set amount of time for each speech. He didn't have more time than the other ones that are coming up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They have a set amount of time. I don't think anybody told Hayes.
No, I said they have a set amount of time. I didn't say that each one has the same time.
True.
I said his one didn't have his wasn't the longest of the night.
Fair enough. But yeah, Stan Hansen, seems like a good guy. I'm gonna go back to some of his matches on the network because he did seem like he was a great heel, especially when he broke San Martino's neck. It's like, oh, jeez.
Yep.
Like, I didn't know about that, but that's ow. And I knew it, and it was funny because they would talk about this guy Stan Hansen, and I was like, oh, the cowboy wrestler, but I keep saying, that name sounds. I feel like I've heard people mention that name before, and then Stan Hansen said, oh, well, I want to thank JBL for keeping my name in circulation on TV on the commentary. I'm like, oh, that's where I heard that name.
Yep. Good old JBL.
Indeed.
Yeah. JBL's awesome.
Carrying on the cowboy legacy. Go Texas. All right. So after that great speech between the two of them, we then went to our Diva inductee of the year, and that being Jacqueline Moore, who was inducted by one of everybody's favorite tag teams, the Dudley Boys.
They were awesome. They were hilarious.
They were funny. They were good.
They were funny. They were funny. Her part.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Jackie was talented in the ring. She was never the most charismatic on the mic.
No, I wasn't asking to complain that she was charismatic. It's just like her speech was like, oh, it doesn't really shed any new light or do anything new. Like, it seemed to even repeat some of the dialogue from the previous two people. I'm like,
yeah. But she was being genuine and she was grateful, so I liked it.
Yeah. No, you just say testify.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Okay, then you get your own damn tables.
Yep. I like that. Like I said, I like the Dudley's part of the speech was great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like how Jackie picked them too, and they they went about the friendship and the bond that they had. And Dion made a speech about how when in this business, over the course of your career and your life, you can you get a few good friends, and you can count them on one hand with fingers to spare. And I think Bubba and I are both proud to say that Jackie is one of those fingers.
Yep.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
And I thought Jackie certainly deserves it because Jacqueline, even in my earliest days of watching, because I came in right on the end of the Attitude Era, so my earliest days of watching pro wrestling, I remember Jackie being one of those divas, those ladies that she listed off in her speech. I remember that era, and her being one of those tough divas that in my mind there was always that segregation of divas. There was divas like Trish, Lita, and Jackie who would get it done, and then there were the divas like Tara Reynolds, the Cat, who were more there for the looks than the skill. And so Jackie was one of those who I knew she could learn that somebody's gonna get their ass beat. She's just gonna put on a show.
Yeah, the valets versus in-ring competitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I loved.
Yeah, I can see Jacqueline deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. And
Yeah.
like I said, my only complaint was her speech was just like I don't even think she put any effort into it because it felt so cliched.
Yeah. It was a
Yeah, I
little
can
low key.
understand
You're
Like
right about that.
just going through the motions and whatever.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I would also like to say Jacqueline, I feel, is very underrated. She was one of my favorite divas back in the Attitude Era because whenever she came out, it was just like, okay, yeah, she's gonna whoop someone's ass, and she usually did. She was very good in the ring, very good.
Indeed.
She was okay in the ring. She wasn't one of the best, but she also wasn't that good with personality-wise.
Yeah.
Which you want the full package. It's
Yeah.
like whenever she was around you, I was always like, oh, okay, she's basically a poor man's Jazz.
Kind of, yeah. Once Jazz was there, yeah, that was kind of the case.
I meant when Jazz was wrestling elsewhere too, at different times.
Oh, see, I didn't know about Jazz until she hit the WWE.
And also, like, China was better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Jacqueline seemed like, oh, she's muscular like China and all those. She doesn't have any personality to her. Like, she was only interested when they teamed her with someone.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah. That makes sense.
That I always liked, right? I hope she shows up in a future game, like in the next one, because I think she deserves
That'd be
that.
interesting. Oh, I will say, if we're getting to that point, especially inducting Jacqueline, the next Diva inductee needs to be Victoria.
We do not see Victoria. I like.
Mm-hmm. Next inductee needs to be China, but that's not going to happen.
No. That will not happen. But yeah, she also deserves it.
Yep.
Moving along. We think about Jerry Lawler with something new this year that I thought was kind of cool. And that was the 2016 Hall of Fame Legacy inductees. This is a new section of the Hall of Fame, a new wing, I guess you would call it, to induct some of the early legends of professional wrestling from before the WWF was even a territory, way back in the early days, that deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, but this far after the fact, a full-on induction would be, just a little unnecessary. So they showed us some short video packages for a number of legendary early professional wrestling superstars, including Pat O'Connor, George Hackenschmidt, Frank Gotch, the legendary Frank Gotch, Mildred Burke, one of the earliest women wrestlers, Sailor Art Thomas, Ed Strangler Lewis, and
Mildred
Lou
Burke
Thesz,
had
of course.
guns on her. Wow. That kind of surprised me. I was like, wow, she has guns. Holy crap.
You couldn't have waited until I was done reading the list to talk?
I was trying to interject when it was relevant, and you just kept talking. Because I waited, and there was actually a break, so I tried to talk during the break.
Maybe there was lag, because on my end there wasn't a break. But fair enough. But yes, I like this idea of the legacy inductees and bringing these people who really do deserve to be in, any wrestling Hall of Fame worth its, worth its weight. So it was nice to see.
Like I said, Lou Perez.
Lou Thesz,
Woo! Thesz, woo.
So I just realized you didn't get a chance to finish your list after.
Oh, so I did. Yeah, Lou Thesz was the last one on that list. The of course iconic Lou Thesz.
Yeah, and I was like, that's such a famous move that's even named after him. I was like,
Yeah, the Luthez press, always classic.
Yeah, we need to mention that.
Yeah, definitely great for him. And of course, I want to mention before that, the guy looked up was, of course, Ed Strangler Lewis, famous for that putting men down with that sleeper hold.
Yep.
Yep. Hence they call him the Strangler.
Indeed, and I like the part where they had that moment where they said that I think it was Teddy Roosevelt even said, if I was a president of the United States, I'd like to be George Hackenschmidt. That was cool. Which also nice, as always, the WWE's video package is very nice to add these inductees into the Hall of Fame, and I think that certainly they deserve it.
I like this idea. I thought they could have showcased it a little longer.
Yeah, it did seem to go by very quickly, given how many people they put in there and the legends that they are.
Because they get less time in the celebrities and the people who aren't wrestlers categories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I will say, as much as like the WWE, and they certainly deserve to, be recognized. It felt like somebody said to Vince, there's a lot of guys who are in other Hall of Fames that aren't in this. They're real legends that should be in there. Vince was like, all right, put together a video package. We'll put them all in at once. It kind of felt like it was a little shoehorned in.
Semi. I think these legacy ones, when you notice, like, it's the black and white era and stuff, they're definitely not going to be the people you're going to see nowadays. Most of the ones are inducted are from, like, the cable era.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. So they're the ones that there's still going to be people alive who are watching WWE who will remember these people, so they induct them. Whereas, like, you get that with the NFL and other Hall of Fames and stuff, where if they induct any legacy type people, like the black and white era type stuff, it's normally feels shoehorned in, but that's because they don't have much footage, to be fair. But they don't give as much speeches and stuff as they could do.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is my point. I just wanted them to give more of a speech, because I care way more about that than I do about any of the precipitants of certain awards.
Yeah, but I'm sure if you go to WWE's Hall of Fame website, they've probably got a good bio of each of those legacy inductees. I'm sure, so I'm sure you can read more about them there.
Yeah, I could read more about them anywhere. It's just I wanted to see more about them at the Hall of Fame.
Fair enough, but it's nice that they did something at least.
I mean, yeah, but that's like saying, like, I don't know, oh, Miz doesn't make it to this year's WrestleMania. It's okay. If you go to WWE.com, his profile's up. It's not the same. I want to see him at WrestleMania.
True.
Yay, Miz.
So, as we move along, we then cut to the spectacle of the evening, the induction of the fabulous Freebirds. Who were, of course, inducted by one of their those they inspired, the current tag team champions, The New Day.
Yep.
Who were in very stylish suits, I might add.
Yep.
I like it. I really do like the Freebirds, and like I said, I'm glad they're in there, just because I loved wrestling growing up and stuff, to the point where I'd even go back with my dad and stuff when he was alive and watch all the old tapes and stuff.
Nice.
But I love the Freebirds, and yeah, they are one of the reasons, or the reason we have like the music we have today, which is a huge part of wrestling. To the point WWE's already released like WWE the music CDs and MP3s and DVDs and VHS tapes. And I think there's probably a new Blu-ray coming out of the music and stuff, because it had Fandango on the cover that was coming out. And I'm like, yeah, and it's all just that one element alone is thanks to the Freebirds, and that's not even going into all the stuff Michael Hayes himself has done backstage, of stuff like giving Stone Cold a stunner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Which, yeah, it's like, I'd argue too, wrestling would be so much different if they hadn't decided to integrate the entrance musics and stuff.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
And it was a shame because, of course, Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin came out, and because, again, this is, I've always heard wonderful things about the Freebirds, and they, clips I've seen here and there, they've always looked like great superstars. But I actually, Marcus and I were unaware, and I checked because I wasn't sure when I only saw 2 of them, and it was a shame when I realized the remainder of the group had passed away.
Yep. But you may even mention it during the speech.
They did, but this was before they got to that point that I looked it up.
You should have known that at least one of them wasn't there. They were famous for being the first ever 3-man tag team.
Well, no, that's why I said, because they showed the promo, they mentioned they were a 3-man team, then the one guy left and they got another guy, and I'm like, okay, so there's at least 2 Freebirds missing here. So I looked like, oh, they passed, that's too bad.
Fair enough. But I like good. Michael Hayes' attire and his song.
He did, yeah. Michael Hayes did a great job.
This was a good induction speech. The New Day were good. They didn't go overboard with, thank God. They kept it kind of, PC, as it were. So, they were very respectful. And then, just Michael Hayes and Jim, they knocked it out of the park. Now, it was really long.
Your laptop more far away.
Is he breaking up to you? Because he's breaking up like crazy to me.
He's breaking up to like crazy to as he's doing it, he starts to turn into Charlie Brown's teacher from school. It's
kind of, yeah. You're not wrong.
Any better? Hello.
It's better.
Yeah, it's fine now when you say a word or two. When you start going into that elongated, that's when it starts messing up.
Probably because I was leaning back on the cabin. Anyway, saying this is very good. The New Day, they did a good job. They were very PC, as it were. They didn't go overboard. Go over the top. They were very respectful, which I liked. And the Freebird themselves, it was long, but it was entertaining and very respectful at the same time, and just very informative stuff, because they would tell story stuff to entertain, but also to give you a glimpse into what that life was like and what it was like being in a brotherhood. And I thought that was great.
Yep.
Yeah, very much so. It was a great speech, a lot of great stories. Jim Jam did his thing. It was very entertaining, and it was just great to hear. Michael Hayes obviously was relishing the opportunity, and he took every minute of it, and it was just so fun to hear about and watch.
Which he's definitely deserved this.
Oh yeah.
It's like, go back and watch that Legends of Wrestling roundtable discussion that's on there. It talks about all the old stuff, and you can learn stories, and it's really fucking interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see Michael Hayes on a lot of those, and there was a running joke on that as well of he doesn't have a Hall of Fame ring.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd get Mean Gene introducing, and here he is, Hall of Famer Mick Foley, Hall of Famer Jim Ross, Hall of Famer Ric Flair, and Michael Hayes. And you're like, stop that. I thought all the panel where he'd do that, that's just one, I think that was one of the lineups, but that is really great. The NWO one is fucking awesome, and Nash on it, it's fucking great.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I thought it was too, they brought out Kerry Von Erich. I thought it was nice.
Yeah, that was cool. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Von Erich.
Yeah.
That was awesome, and I don't know why your mic's still breaking up a little bit, or doing
a little bit. But yeah, Kevin Von Erich coming out was pretty cool. That was nice. He got to say something, and I like how they brought out the sons of the 2 missing Freebirds. That was also very nice to let them say a few words.
That was awesome.
Also, I think we need to have a moment of silence for Michael Hayes' apartment. Because they fucked that place up. I'm sorry, that was my favorite thing.
I just loved his song at the end.
That was also awesome to hear the song, yeah.
Where he's actually doing the song. I'm like, he's doing it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, although it would have been nice if he wasn't singing over himself.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the song. That's why. What song did you want him to sing?
No. I mean, if they just played the instrumental and let him sing the song rather than his own voice being played with the song and then him singing over it.
Yeah, but him singing over it was much better.
You think so?
Because listen to his voice. His voice now isn't as good as it used to be. So having that old one just underneath it sort of improved the tone and tune of his voice. It was a sneaky way for him to continue singing while not actually doing the voice as well as he used to.
That's fair enough. I didn't think about that, but that does make sense.
Yeah.
Is this any better? I turned it off and turned it back on.
You
sound
sound
fine.
better, yeah.
Yeah, you sound fine.
Jim, did you want to mention the one thing you mentioned to me the other night?
Which thing was that?
The thing that only Michael PSAs could get away with in an induction speech.
Oh yeah, that was. I was very surprised that they went this way, and I have no doubt that Hayes probably got his ass chewed by Vince after the fact, or by somebody. But the fact that Michael Hayes went out of his way to thank the writers and to basically just put K-Fob aside for a brief period and say thank you to the writers and all these guys who work backstage, because I don't think a lot of people know how hard they work to make this show go on and on. Basically acknowledging that, yeah, I know everybody on the internet bitches about the writers, but quite frankly, you don't know the writers, and they do a great job, and they need credit where credit is due.
Time out. Vince would not have bitched him out or chewed him out for that.
You don't think so?
It's the Hall of Fame ceremony, as they've mentioned multiple times. It's the one night of the year where kayfabe doesn't matter. Heels are being respected and cheered by the fans equally with faces. You get sheer enemies sat next to each other watching the legends do their business. It's not about the kayfabe or anything like that. It's about the industry itself, and it's about the respect. So that the writers do it works because that's the one element people don't think about.
Yeah, yeah. And then he went over to thank them and all the backstage guys and everything else. And was he the one that thanked the Carpenters?
He may have been.
It was either him or Stan Hansen. I can't remember which.
Would that be Sting because of the rafters?
Ah, nice.
Thank you.
But yeah, they I like he went over to thank all the backstage people and give them credit. He thanked his ex-wives, and he thanked his adorable dog in a tutu.
Yeah.
So that's just very entertaining in induction all the way around, and it was just great that he he got to do what he did and they let him roll with it, and that was just really entertaining.
Yep.
So props to Michael Hayes and congratulations to all the Freebirds.
I will say, I think the one thing Hayes should not have done, I wore the fan back.
What's that, Marcus? You broke up again.
Oh, I can't fix that. But anyway, I don't think he should have wore the fanny pack.
What's wrong with the fanny pack?
It looks weird when he's got the cape and everything.
I didn't think it looked that weird. I noticed it. I'm like, oh, he's wearing a fanny pack. That's interesting. But beyond that,
Yeah, of course he was wearing a fanny pack. What era is he from?
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
No one complained about Godfather's hat because Attitude Era.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah, the Freebirds have some great stories. Like those were fun stories.
They were.
Good times. Good times. All right, so as we continue what we chug along here, we then the next up inductee was the Big Boss Man, who was inducted by the Doctor of Style Slick. I have no idea why Slick was chosen for this. I'm assuming he and Boss Man were friends or something. I don't know.
He mentioned it in his speech.
He did?
Yeah, they were very close.
Okay.
And he was Boss Man's manager at one point.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, and I will say with how it's breaking up, Marcus, I don't think it's a headset thing because that's a noise, not a like it's doing. It's just like an internet thing, so you can sit back comfortably if you need to.
Yeah. But yeah, Slick gave a good speech. I like how he made the joke about the collection box. He's like, he forgot he thought he was in church. That was funny.
Yeah. Well, Slick is always entertaining.
Yeah, he gave a good speech. And I got the Boss Man's wife and daughters came out, and they gave a great speech. They did a good job reminiscing about their father, and the joke about, we had to see our father's face in Rikishi's ass, the funny jokes about the things that he did. Don't worry, we didn't actually eat pepper,
Yeah.
I don't know, some of the things that they brought up, and obviously the the feelings from all three of them, and that was cool.
I love that his wife brought the nightstick with her. That was awesome.
That was also cool, yeah.
And they mentioned Big Show's daddy.
They did. So.
No, it was a good speech. It was short to the point, but it was, like you said, it was heartfelt. It was genuine, and it was respect. Yeah. Basically, it was awesome.
Yeah. So that was a really nice speech.
Yep.
We then move on to the Celebrity Wing induction for this year, where we are inducting famed rapper and WWE enthusiast Snoop Doggy Dogg, who is inducted by John Cena because he's also a rapper, I guess.
He's inducted by John Cena because those two are friends.
As John Cena pointed out, Snoop took it on him to his, actually rap.
We could not understand a word of that, Marcus.
What? Well, we can't help it, but yeah. What Marcus was trying to get at, because I heard bits of it, was he mentioned that during the speech, John Cena actually mentioned Snoop was the one person who actually believed in his rap songs to help him actually get out there.
That's true. He did mention that.
Yeah, and Snoop actually took him into his studio to make rap. He was like, "Here, use my studio. I believe in you that much."
Yep, which that's awesome. And I will say with Snoop, he's one of the celebrities. Since they're doing a celebrity wing, I've had to go okay, and I'm sorry, he deserves it way more than like Bob Barker, who was like one episode.
Yeah, and Drew Carey, who got thrown out of one Rumble.
Drew Carey's been in 2 appearances, I believe. But
Has he? Okay.
With Snoop, I'm like, he's done multiple appearances. He's related to one of the wrestlers now, who could have inducted him, but I think the Cena one was the best option.
Yeah, Marcus and I said the same thing. We had thought it would be nice to have Sasha induct him, but Cena makes sense.
I thought the other one, I thought Sasha could have inducted him, but I thought Cena was the much better choice. Cena's way better on the microphone.
True.
And by Snoop Dogg basically saying, look, I helped John Cena's career early on. Look at how huge Cena's become. That's bigger, and it gives Cena something to do. And Cena, with the huge name he is, it's the face of WWE inducting this guy. You don't get bigger than that.
That's true.
That's true.
So, but yeah, like I said, I had no problem with Snoop. His speech was entertainment, and yeah, he's done so much for WWE over the years and mentioned them so much. He's not like one of those people who basically only seems to like the WWE when they're paid to appear on it.
Yeah.
No, I also love the rap that he
wrote.
Like
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. I also love the rap that he wrote. That was entertainment. I was like, yes, that's why Snoop is fucking awesome. That's why he is the dog.
And I would argue with Brock, that's a good thing, Jim.
Okay.
Like Lex Luger mentioned in the past, and various older wrestlers, there's a few wrestlers who don't really enjoy the business. They enjoy getting paid, but as a result, they're not getting so egotistical that they're like, oh, you want me to lose to this guy? No, I should totally beat this guy because I'm Mr. Badass. They're like, cool, I'm getting a paycheck, I don't care.
True.
And therefore, you get some of the best stuff out of it. Like, I'm sorry, I like Lex Luger. And I like Brock.
Lex Luger's cool. Lex Luger should be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yep. That should happen one day.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so this was, Snoop Dogg, the rap was good. He talked about his history, how, he grew up and his father and grandfather took him to watch wrestling when he was very young in California, how he got into the business, and that was really cool backstory to just know that he grew up with wrestling like that, and he really is a true fan. That was cool.
Yep.
So props to the Snoop Dogg. It is then time to give this year's annual Warrior Award inductee. And this year the Warrior Award was being presented to the head. I know her name. I'm trying to remember the organization that she represents. Susan G. Komen for the cure. Breast cancer awareness advocate Joan London.
I thought all she was an advocate for was their CEOs taking massive paychecks.
No comment.
Sorry, are we not supposed to take the piss out of the fact this is a horrible, horrible company? Like, the amount of money they've taken for the cure, and yet they deliberately don't find the cure, and instead their CEOs take so much money and how much they've done. I'm sorry, when people give money to the cure, it's to find a fucking cure.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I think Joan Lennon was more an advocate for just breast cancer in general, and giving hope to women, not necessarily for organization. Yeah, probably back to organization helps them out, but it's more of the fact that she put a face on that, a well-known face
on the campaign, face. Yeah.
Yeah. And she set up that website to help people and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
side of that organization.
Yeah, but they did it in really despicable ways, because like I said, it was all over the news when you saw how much money they were making off their non-profit organization. There's no excuse for that. There's no fucking excuse. It's despicable.
Which is fine, but I don't think you should blame Joan Lennon for that, nor directly link her to that, even though, yeah, she's done some stuff, but you look at everything else that she's done, that's just one small part in the overarching battle that she's waging on this cancer thing of helping people. Like I said, she set up this website, which has nothing to do with Susan G. Komen. She may advertise it on there, but I don't think it's connected to it. I think it's a thing that she's done herself. What? Don't roll your eyes at me.
Why not?
What?
I roll my eyes when someone's being stupid.
Fuck you. Just because she's associated with them doesn't mean that all of a sudden
that's why they inducted her, because of the breast cancer awareness thing, when WWE is constantly sponsored by them.
Okay, I don't...
Ignoring her ties to this company, and don't interrupt me, I'm not Jim, I'm actually tell you to shut the fuck up. It's basically a case of no, you're the hypocrite, because how can you say, oh, you got to ignore that little part of her? But I would argue to you, okay, ignoring that part, which is why she's there, because of what WWE is sponsored by, which is one of the negative parts, would be like saying, okay, let's induct a wrestler, but never discuss any of their matches.
Yes, except they never mentioned that, which is why I didn't know that. It makes sense that she would, be back in there, whatever, or being support them, because she probably was supported by them a little bit. But I don't recall them ever mentioning that. All they ever talked about was her battle with cancer, what she did in terms of making that website, in terms of creating a support structure for other men and women who had breast cancer and stuff like that, and her fight with cancer. I never once heard Susan G. Komen for the cure in that entire induction ceremony.
Is she not Susan G. Komen for the cure? I could be entirely wrong about that. I thought she was.
I have no idea. It's entirely possible she is. It would not surprise me. I'm just saying I don't recall them ever mentioning that. And I think, everything else that she's done should not be overshadowed if, in fact, here's the point I'm making.
Like I said, I could be entirely wrong. Maybe she isn't, involved with them. I could be entirely wrong about that, and if I am, I apologize.
Yeah, but I don't think that should overshadow everything else that she's done. Is all I'm saying. It's one aspect of what she does, if in fact she is associated with them.
And I'm just saying, we normally look at the negatives for everything. Why not look at the negatives for this, especially considering someone who has nothing to do with wrestling at all is going into a wrestling Hall of Fame. Sorry, I'm going to be looking at that snidely. I don't care.
Fair enough. I think that's mean to her, but fair enough. I say. Let me finish. Will say I don't necessarily agree with this award anyway. I agree with what it's supposed to stand for. I don't agree with what WWE's done with it, and I don't, as much as it's appropriate, I don't like the fact that Dana Warrior is the one that presents it, because she's fucking terrible on speeches.
I want to say for the record, it looks like Joan London has partnered with Susan G. Komen and has worked with them, but is not directly herself a member of the organization. But she's worked with them.
Which I was arguing that's why she was being inducted, because they used the very loose tie of it being sponsored by WWE, so she's appeared on WWE TV.
Which is fair enough, and that makes sense.
Yeah, and I would also make the case this award, even though he was broken up like fuck again, it's a case of this award was basically this award shouldn't have existed in the first place.
Marcus, it's not your headset connection, it's your internet. Resetting your headset isn't going to fix the problem.
Well, unless you want to give me even more money, because I've already upgraded my internet. But anyway, I was saying I agree that the award should not exist. I agree with what it's supposed to stand for and what it should stand for. I don't agree with what WWE's done with it. And as appropriate as it is, given everything that's going on, I don't agree with Dana Warrior being the one who gives the award. She's fucking terrible on the mic. Every time, it seems like she's trying to make it about her and about the Ultimate Warrior. And I'm like, fuck off. It's about who you're giving it to, not about you. Like, you talk about Ric Flair not realizing that he's not the one being inducted. Dana Warrior's far worse in that respect.
No, you're absolutely right. I agree with that. Dana Warrior has a bad habit of trying to take the spotlight a little bit, and there was one particular moment where I noticed it where she was giving her speech and she paused at a moment where, like, I don't know if she expected more of an audience reaction or what, but there's one where she paused and got almost like she was like, all right, just a little bit there. Like, she was expecting a big reaction and they didn't give it to her and she was upset by that. I'm like, really?
To be fair, I would make the case she is more entitled to that than the other person who takes money for the cure.
Which is fair enough.
Because at the end of the day, WWE is using her dead husband's name to make money. Yeah, she has every bit of right to make it about the dead husband.
Which is fair enough, and I do think it's appropriate for her to be able to give the award. I know, over the years that she does this, I hope her promo skill might improve a little bit, and
Well, the thing is, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, the thing is, she's not a bad talker. It's the fact that it seems like it's more about her than it's about the person she's giving it to. And if you're inducting someone else, the show of you talking about them versus you talking about you, it should be more of you talking about them. And I get the feeling that, like you said, she tries to hog the spotlight. She tries to take it all away from the person trying to give it to. And I'm like, I don't like that. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah,
like,
but
I really hated her speech because I'm like, shut the hell up and induct the person. We've already inducted your husband. Get over yourself and actually get to the instead of thinking like you want to keep it for yourself.
Okay, you spoke a bit at the end, but I would also say get over what? Get over the fact they took something her husband said out of context and milked his death to make money. She should get over that, should she? That is fucking the most pathetic thing you said.
Yes, because she gave them permission to do it. She could have said no. They went to her and asked her if they could, make this award or whatever. Yeah, she didn't want it to happen. She should have said no. The fact that she allowed this to happen, which I'm okay with, I don't think it should exist, but I understand what they're going for. Respect what they're trying to do with it. Don't try to make it about yourself if you're going to let them do it. You never wanted them to do it in the first place. If you're pissed off about doing it in the first place, don't fucking do it.
I didn't say she was pissed off. There's no need to try and do the fake anger stuff. All I said was basically she had every right to, because at the end of the day, dead husband trunks milking cancer for money.
Be that as it may, it's still disrespectful to the person she's inducting or trying to give the award to. Regardless if the person who is being inducted or anything of that sort, you still have to respect that person and respect the fact that you are inducting that person. If you try to hog their spotlight for you, and if that person is bad or if you disagree with that person, that makes you as bad, if worse, the person you're trying to induct, in my opinion. You need to be the bigger person and respect the person that you're giving it to. If I'm inducting somebody, I will respect the fact, okay, I'm inducting them. I'm not going to make it about myself because it's their night. It's not my night. And I think it's very disrespectful to try to turn it around, try to steal their spotlight, and make the night about me. I think that's fucking stupid, and that's disrespectful. And that's the problem I have with Dana Woods. It seems like that's what she's trying to do, and I'm like...
It's because it's called the Warrior one. It's about everything about her husband and stuff like that. They use that to boost it up so it's more tied to wrestling. Because the people who have received it so far have nothing to do with wrestling.
I would argue
Wrestling Hall of Fame. Even Connor, he's a fan, but he has as much to do with wrestling as all of us. And that is nothing.
True. But that's the thing. It's like I said, they booked it as it's people who inspire the traits and the things that the warrior believed in, and it's certainly important to talk up the the attributes of the warrior that the award represents, and to explain why the award is important, and then why the person that's being inducted embodies these things to show what it is that they're getting this award. So it shows these are the things that they have demonstrated that represent the warrior. So by talking up the warrior, you are kind of talking her up. At the same time, I do feel she went on a little bit.
She probably did. But I would also make the case every time she gives that award, she's having to talk about her husband. That's emotional. You don't just get over losing a loved one.
That is true.
No, you don't. But I would say you need to be professional and separate that. You can get emotional, yes, but it's like she went on there and basically went most of the time thanking WWE for their support during this trying time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I understand you're grateful to the WWE. That's fine. But like what Jim said, she should have been talking about her husband, about the traits of the warrior, and about what this means. And as Jim pointed out, why Joan London exemplifies these traits of this award. It's the award. I'm trying to, be like, this is the Warrior Award. This is what it means. This is what my husband stood for, and this is why this recipient deserves it.
That's what her speech was. And when she thanks the WWE for the trying time, it's because her family and WWE, it's to show that WWE really did love her husband, and then she mentions what her husband represents, because let's not forget, as we mentioned in the past, philanthropy is the new marketing, or whatever the hell Stephanie called it. Advertising, I think she called it.
Yeah, I just felt did it in a very disrespectful way to the recipient, but that's my opinion.
I just think the recipient was really disrespectful for even being in the Hall of Fame in the first place.
Mm. No, she may have affiliated herself with an organization that is less than reputable at this point, but she did still fight off breast cancer, and she did still put herself out there to try and help raise awareness of it, to try to help find a cure. Yes. She may have picked a bad partner, but she did do a lot of it too.
She may have, but I would also argue it's the Wrestling Hall of Fame. It's like if there was a medical wing about cancer and stuff like that, and they talk about all the people who've done great in the field of cancer. I don't want John Cena getting an award for a rap. It's like during the Oscars. If they do the Oscars, I don't want them to say, oh, by the way, here's an award that goes out to the guy that made the advert with the bunny that bangs up and down over and over again. It's like, no, fuck off. It's not a movie. Fuck off.
Fair enough. So, some controversy regarding this award. But as we move on to the closest thing you have to a main event on an award ceremony, and that was the induction of the icon, Sting. Woo! Who was, of course, inducted by the 16-time world champion, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Damn it! I used my woo already.
You did use your woo. You're at woo quota.
I will say one thing really surprised me. Ric Flair didn't woo once. Like, what? Ric Flair not wooing and he's handed a mic? What is this?
I was surprised he didn't blade himself and started elbow dropping his jackass.
He wasn't that drunk. But no, I like this.
That's Ric Flair's secret. He's always drunk.
Yeah. But I enjoyed this. Ric Flair did a good job. He wasn't as rambly as he is usually. and I liked it. He tried to, you know, rein it in, and I liked that. He was still entertaining because it's Ric Flair. When is he not entertaining?
This is true.
Just overall, in Sting's speech is very good. I love the end of it where he's like, "This isn't goodbye. This is until later, or see you later." And I'm like, I like that. That's great. That's a great way to end it.
Yeah, like I said, I mentioned earlier, I had a little issue to the end of Ric Flair's speech where it seemed like he got a little carried away and forgot that he was supposed to be touching Sting for a minute, but he caught himself and he took care of it, so it worked out in the end. And it was, you know, great to see Ric Flair, you know, mentioning, you know, different people, and like he took a show like really Stan Hansen, like Rick Martel beat you in 9 seconds. What the hell, man? You know, let me beat you. That was funny.
Yeah.
And you know, and Heyman did his part to talk up his daughter Charlotte and keep that heel heat up for the following night. So props to Flair on pulling that off. As I said the first time when they showed Charlotte and she got booed, I said to Marcus, "Wow, it's hard to get booed at the Hall of Fame ceremony. That is heel heat."
Pretty much. Especially when himself got cheered, which discussion or question that Jim had asked me going into the Hall of Fame. Do you think you asked me, Jim? Do you think Flair is going to get booed or cheered when he comes up? And I was like, I don't know. And he got cheered, which is great to see.
Yeah, which is good.
He'd get cheered because I'd ask, have you not seen any of the Hall of Fames? Like I mentioned, heel and face means nothing. It's about respect, and you don't get any respect more than someone like Ric Flair. Everyone respects Ric Flair.
True, except for the part where he started talking his daughter up and the audience started booing.
Yeah, but that's because he's doing it in character.
True.
It's like if Vince McMahon comes out, they'll cheer him, but then if he was to turn around and say, yeah, and Brett screwed Brett as part of the catchphrase, the crowd will boo.
True. Which that'll surprise me. At no point did we ever see Vince over the course of the whole night. It was Linda and Hunter and Stephanie and their kids. No Vince. Shane and his wife and sons, and no Vince. I was shocked. Especially when, who was it? I think Michael Hayes went and started thanking the McMahon family. No Vince.
Vince was there, though.
He was? Well, I'm sure he was there. I just didn't see him on camera at any point.
Yeah, he was not on camera.
Well, Vince does, contrary to his character persona, Vince does tend to try to shy out of the spotlight for events like this and let the guys, you know, have their moment.
He does.
You think
he does, but he was also with the same reason as Undertaker wasn't in the crowd.
Well, Undertaker's never in the crowd because they think that hurts his character.
Yeah, but he's always there. Like, he was there with Vince. It was just a case of they weren't in front of the camera because Vince is meant to be right now in a massive feud with Stephanie and stuff like that. So to Vince, with being that old school guy, it's best that he's not with his family.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's with that massive feud where he's fighting, making his son and his daughter fight each other and stuff. And
right, that's true. Yep. Although I was like, given where the audience chants went during Sting's speech, I was really hoping the Undertaker would come out, and even if Sting was still going to retire, I was hoping the Undertaker might come out and might give him the, you know, the kneel down, you know, respect. I thought that would have been cool.
Yep.
So that'll just be one of those fantasy matches that we'll never see outside of a video game.
Yeah.
But Sting gave a great speech. You know, and he talked about, you know, his legacy. He mentioned Joker Sting, so he at least a couple of points he did reference TNA. So I was glad that he brought that up, but he didn't try to, you know, completely shut that down because that's a part of his legacy too. Even if WWE doesn't want to acknowledge it.
It is.
I love how you approach it. Should I mention Joker Sting? All right, Joker Sting.
Yeah, like, am I allowed to mention Joker Sting? All right, why not? And you know, he talked about all the great stuff on the road. You know, how he, you know, got into the job a little bit late. And, you know, he met these guys. He started wrestling. All of a sudden, he was wrestling. You know, Ric Flair in main events, and you know that all the, you know, just everything he went through, and it's, you know, a storied career. In fact, he never thought that he would be there. And it was really great to hear, great to see. And I like how he put the glasses on and took the bat at the end. That was appropriate.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was the Hall of Fame ceremony for 2016. Overall thoughts?
I thought it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I thought some were long, some were more necessary, but overall, I enjoyed myself.
Okay, good. Mo, what did you think?
Like I said, besides that one award, which I think is distasteful even being there, I liked the red carpet event, and I liked the whole Hall of Fame. Like, all the speeches were good. We had the speech that was really interesting, the spectacle, and that main one, which, while it wasn't either of the other two ones, it deserves to be the main one just for the sheer star power alone.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
certainly.
So, yeah, I liked the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I thought it was a great ceremony. Like I said, being that I don't really know Stan Hansen, I mean, I got on the board during his speech, but he seemed to have that great, like you said, that passion and that presence, and he carries himself in a way that a lot of guys today don't, and that was really cool to see. Like, I could just feel that air radiating off him, and realize that was a wrestler.
Yeah.
And just a great night all around. It's always nice to see everybody get to come and be positive at the Hall of Fame ceremony every year. It's just a great night.
No, I do want to say, following the Michael Hayes induction, Jim turned to me and was like, "Man, I don't know how anyone was going to follow that up. I'm like, how's Sting going to follow that up?" And I was like, "Dude, Sting has one advantage over every other person on this docket. He's fucking Sting." And Jim goes, "Oh, good point."
Yeah, pretty much. You're not wrong.
Yep, but it still wasn't as good as the Michael Hayes one.
No, the Michael Hayes one was amazing.
It was.
But just the fact that it's Sting, just...
Indeed.
It was
R.I.P. Wooden Leg Biker.
Yeah.
He might not even be dead. I don't know. But
with as bad a shot as he is, he might.
Yeah. What's so funny? He missed. Oh, great stories.
Yeah.
So, one last thing. Let's do this because this could be a little bit fun since we're going to the end here. Who would you guys like to see in the 2017 Hall of Fame class?
Hulk Hogan.
He's already in.
Nope, they removed him.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
I'm kidding, but he said he'd been removed.
Yeah.
No, I'd like Lex.
Well, I guess next year we'll induct Mr. America.
Yeah. No, I'd like Lex.
Yeah, Lex will be good. I think Lex certainly deserves it.
Because it's hard because I don't have a list in front of me of all the people who are in there, but Lex would definitely belong in there. If he's not, he might already be in there, but Kerr Hennig.
I can't remember if Mr. Perfect's in there or not. That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah,
if he's not, he definitely deserves to be in there as well.
I think because it's time for him to just full-on 100% retire. I think The Rock.
Say that again, Marcus?
He said The Rock, because it's time for him to 100% retire. He just said it through shitty internet.
Fair enough. I thought The Rock was already in there. I guess I was wrong.
No, his father and his grandfather are in there. He's never been inducted.
Yes, he inducted his father and grandfather. I caught that.
Because he's not technically retired.
Yeah.
He's partially retired.
Yeah. But also, and this is through no fault of his own because, it's just the way he pronounced everything. But they must notice how Stan Hansen kept pronouncing The Rock's grandfather's name wrong.
Yep.
I'm like, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna criticize you. It's the Hall of Fame and you're an awesome dude, but you're pronouncing it wrong.
It's like, I'm gonna make a weird prediction.
Okay.
For the showrunner next year. One or two people.
You mean the head inductee? You mean the lead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
One or two people. Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
Or the one I'm thinking the most, just with all the films that are coming out and stuff like that, Batista.
I could see Batista. Yeah, that would make sense. I could see that.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, those would be great. As I mentioned earlier, I think the next female inductee needs to be Victoria because Victoria is a presence in wrestling, and I think she deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Molly Holly.
Molly Holly would be good too.
China.
That won't happen.
Yeah. Miss Hancock.
Who?
Stacy Keibler.
Oh. Mole's like, damn you, Jim, for not watching wrestling as early as me.
No, I'm like, how can you not know that? She literally debuted as that. They've mentioned that multiple times.
Okay. Fair enough.
Is Ivory in the Hall of Fame yet?
I don't think so. She deserves it, too.
I think she deserves it.
I don't think she is, but she does deserve it, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, certainly quite a number of divas that deserve an induction going forward. I can certainly see them.
Mm-hmm.
Karma. Kelly. She invented the roll-up finish.
There you go. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised at maybe not next year, but at whatever year when the Undertaker finally retires and they induct him, I wouldn't be surprised if they inducted Michelle McCool the same year.
Well, and give them his and her trophies.
Exactly. His and her rings.
Yeah.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Yeah. Oh, that's another one that'll probably happen next year. Given that they both retired, the Bella Twins will get inducted pretty soon.
I don't know if I don't think they're both retired.
No, Brie confirmed her retirement.
Brie also said that she's not saying it's a proper retirement. She's just taking time off.
Yeah. Okay. If they come back,
And
more power to them.
She plans to return, and Nikki said she's still hoping to return.
Right. We'll have to see the results of the her rehab, of course.
Sadly, I could see another one given popularity and the fact that his career's basically over.
Okay.
I could see them inducting Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me either.
Even though I don't think he deserves it, but I don't think not now. But given his popularity now, it would be a draw. I could see WWE totally doing that.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. How about that UFC fighter, CM Punk?
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else.
Another one they could do since he's technically on a Legends contract. Brock Lesnar.
He's still active. They don't induct active competitors. The only one they did was Ric Flair, and that's because he was retiring the next night.
Yep.
True.
That's the only time that's happened.
That's why I want The Rock to retire so he can finally get his ring and take his spot to Cold.
Yeah, The Rock certainly deserves to be in there.
Well, he's not getting a ring. Instead, he's getting the word of power.
That's true.
Yes, he is.
That is true.
It has been confirmed. It has been confirmed in TNA that the Hall of Fame ring are lantern rings. That is a fact.
Pretty much.
What?
Do you remember the storyline where Hulk Hogan basically took his Hall of Fame ring and gives it to Abyss, and when Abyss wears it, gains the power of Hulkamania, because that's how rings work?
Yep.
Yeah, I do remember that, sadly.
That's a great storyline.
Good times. Speaking of TNA, that's another one, because I don't think he's in there yet, Kurt Angle.
Yep.
As long as he's with TNA or he's active somewhere else, they won't do it. If he fully retires, they probably will.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, certainly. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in next year's class, and I'm sure there's some other superstars from prior eras that deserve induction that I simply don't know of. So,
I need to see. I'd want to see a list of who's in and be like, oh, okay, well, there's this guy.
Yeah.
Is DDP in it yet?
I don't believe so.
Because he deserves it. He deserves the fuck out of that. DDP needs to be inducted.
No, I don't think DDP is. No, DDP is not in it. I have the list.
I could see him being inducted next year.
Certainly, yeah, he certainly deserves it.
By Jake the Snake.
Yeah, considering
that would be awesome.
Well, DDP inducted Jake the Snake, so it would only make sense to reciprocate.
It would. And the Resurrection of Jake the Snake documentary is totally awesome. You should all check it out today.
That is what I've heard.
All right, Jim, take us home.
All right, well, thank you two for joining me to look at the Hall of Fame ceremony. Always a wonderful night in WWE. As always, if you'd like to read more about the Hall of Fame, you can head to WWE.com/Hall of Fame and read all about all of the various inductees from years past. Thank you two for joining me, and we'll see you for the next SlamTube coming up the beginning of May for Payback. Peace.